Hey y'all, Tosh here. I just want to take a minute or two to talk about the coaching issue that has the coaching debate that has come up in the last couple of days. I've seen a lot of content creators either make videos or tweet about it, and I've gotten a lot of DMs and a lot of tags asking for my input because I am a coach and I do live coaching, and so I wanted to talk about that for a second. And obviously, like I just said, I do live coaching. I do very play-by-play coaching, or I have in the past. So I don't really have much room to talk, but, it's really important to be introspective and think about things you could do better. So I'm gonna do that. First of all, I think it's important to understand that this is a very strategy-based game. Like, the main skill gap is involved is the strategy and the decision making that goes into each choice that you make. So I want to start off by talking about like the sports comparison I've been seeing a lot of. A lot of players are saying live coaching is fine because like in sports, there's a lot of live coaching and it's not really that different. You still have to execute the plays that the coach is telling you to do. I don't think that's a good comparison, if I'm being honest, because in sports the decision is not the biggest aspect. Like let's say, for example, I'm playing tennis. I played varsity tennis in high school. I was varsity captain my senior year. And if I'm in a match, my coach is behind me giving me advice the whole time, if he notices that, my opponent is slowing down or something, he might say, he's looks like he's getting tired, make him move a lot, hit it to the opposite side of the court or really attack his backhand. His backhand isn't as good as his forehand. But the thing is, I have to actually execute those plays. Like, the decision is not the main aspect of that. I still need to spend hours and hours and hours beforehand, like practicing those techniques and making sure my game is on point. And if I don't execute in that particular game, then it won't work and I'll lose. And I have, I've had games where my coach gave me brilliant advice and I just couldn't execute it and I lost the match. PvP is not really like that, It's not. Like, if I tell you as your coach, all right, you're going to want to shield here and then switch, that's all of it, That's like the whole process. There's no skill that goes into actually pressing the shield button. The whole skill gap is in making that choice. So I don't think it's a good comparison to compare to sports. I think it's a better comparison to compare it to chess. I saw somebody do it on Twitter, and I also played a ton of chess competitively as a kid. And I think that's a much better comparison because, like PvP in chess, the decision-making process is the whole thing. You're not running around. You don't have to practice like baseball or football or where you need technique. You do need technique, but it's different. And so I can't even imagine. Like, imagine if I was in a chess match in the finals, and my coach was behind me, being like, "All right, you're gonna go knight to e4, and you're gonna sack your queen, and then mate in 3." That wouldn't be cool. No one would think. I wouldn't be playing the game at that point. My coach would be. And I think that's a good comparison. Like, if I'm sitting there, man, this wind. I might have to re-record this a couple times. Maybe you don't make important videos walking around because, I'm gonna get blown away out here. Anyway, if I don't get blown away and you guys didn't hear any of this, I think that's a more apt comparison. And I think if you look at it through that lens, then probably the in-person play-by-play coaching that people are criticizing probably isn't appropriate. And again, I do it all the time. I probably should stop. Probably will. But you have to remember, I think it's important to remember that PvP is still in its infancy. Coaching in particular has been around for barely a year. And we are still figuring out how to do it appropriately and how to do it fairly. And I think this is a conversation worth having, because we have to get to a place where we can do it. I think coaching is very important for the game. I think we need to figure out a way where we can do it appropriately and not take away all of the competitive, nature of the game. Because, like, at this point, I've done some coaching sessions where I was less coach and more battler by proxy, and that's probably not where we want to go. So what is the line we need to draw, I think, is the important question, because I don't think anyone is arguing that coaching is not necessary. Coaching is not only valuable, but it's necessary. So, like, how do we make coaching work in a way that's fair. I honestly think in-game coaching isn't a problem. I think in-game coaching can help. I think it can work, and I think it can work if you make the coaching during the game vague enough to the point where the battler still needs to make choices. Like, for example, if I was the coach, and I was coaching mid-game, in the middle of the game, if I was like, just remember, your shiftry needs an energy advantage to be able to win the matchup in the back. That's pretty vague, and my student still needs to execute to pull that off. He still needs to farm correctly. He still needs to count properly by himself. He still needs to make those choices. If I told him that mid-game, he still has a bunch of decisions he needs to make to pull that off, and if he doesn't do it right, he'll lose the game. I think if you coach from that perspective, like, all right, we talked about this, you want your Altaria in this matchup, but you need to save the shield you need to save at least a shield for the bat, and you need to get energy on shiftry. I don't think that is over the line. I don't think that's inappropriate. I think there's still a dozen decisions the student has to make to pull that off. When to shield, where to shield, when to farm, when to switch, how much to farm, etc., etc., etc. Now, if I'm, as the coach, I'm like, all right, you're going to count 3 more snarls, you're going to shield, you're going to switch, you're going to do 3 bubbles, then you're going to throw the move. At that point, I'm battling, That's not coaching. And I've done that before. Probably shouldn't have. A lot of really amazing coaches and amazing people do that. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they shouldn't be either. But I think that's a distinction to be made. The bottom line is, though, guys, every single coach in this game has the right idea and has good intentions. We have some of the best coaches in this game. I can name 15 people off the top of my head who are amazing battlers, amazing members of the community, and amazing coaches. And, we just need to figure out a way to impart those skills and help students out without taking over the game for them. And I think it's honestly not, I don't think we're that far off. So, with that being said, hopefully this helps move the conversation in the right direction. Hopefully we can keep talking about it and get to a point where we can coach in a way that is that everyone can get behind. I will say this does beg another question, and that question is GBL supposed to be competitive? Because live coaching is never a thing in Sylph. It's never a thing in Go Team Up or other tournaments, or it's never a thing in sanctioned tournaments. No one ever does that. No one does live coaching in those scenarios. You'd be kicked out of a Sylph tournament if you did that. So, is GBL competitive? If GBL is not competitive, it's just for fun, practice, hanging out, then there's no problem. Coach to your heart's content, no one cares. If it is competitive, it's a problem, but also there are a lot of problems if we as a community decide that GBL is competitive. The paid actor problem at the forefront, which I think is a much, much, much bigger threat to competitiveness than coaching is. But that's probably a conversation for a different walk during Hurricane, apparently. I really hope people can hear this when I'm done recording. Share this video, tag creators who have talked about the issue. My DMs are open if you want to talk about it. I think coaching is important. I think we can do better. I think we can improve. I think I can definitely improve. And I think we will get to a point where we can coach in a way that is fair for both the student and their opponents. All right, guys. Thanks for coming to my Tosh Talk. Love you all. Tosh out.